Kia ora New Zealand. In your news today, the mother of murdered Christchurch teenager Hayden Miles wants to see a life sentence mean life in prison. Gavin Gosnell's been given a non-parole period of 18 years after he killed the 15-year-old in August 2011. Hayden's auntie, Sandy Miles, says they're incredibly relieved this part of the process is over. And yesterday, Parliament passed legislation allowing charter schools to open their doors next year, and the government maintains there will be transparency. One of the big criticisms is the schools will not be subject to the Official Information Act. Education Minister Hekia Parata is reminding opponents that it will not be compulsory for any parent to send their child to a charter school. It's about providing options.
But it will be transparent in terms of what is expected. It will be transparent in terms of the conduct of its business. It will be transparent in that the disciplinary provisions of the Ombudsman Act will apply.
John Banks says at the Select Committee hearing the Iwi Education Authority voiced strong support for the schools.
It's desperately overdue. Failure is institutionalised. Failure is expected for young Marion Pacific students. We need adaptation, we need flexibility, we need to think differently.
The ministry will begin to take applications over the coming weeks before deciding where the new schools will be in a couple of months. The government's To Back Fresh change has been recommended for its reform of the family court. The committee is recommending additional legal aid and counselling to be made available to parents. Justice Minister Judith Collins is very happy with the amendments. In international news, US Secretary of State John Kerry says the Syrian military's siege of the border town of Qusar risks widespread civilian casualties. After nearly 3 weeks of fighting in the town, civilians have been under constant assault by Syrian forces and their allies of the Iranian and Lebanese group Hezbollah. Kerry says that President Bashar al-Assad's conduct is unacceptable.
The world is seeing the actions of a person who has lost touch with any reality except his own, and who is willing to wreak any kind of punishment on his own, on the people of his country, simply so that he can maintain power.
Pomp and ceremony for the Queen as she celebrates the 60th anniversary of her coronation at a service at Westminster Abbey. That's where she was crowned in 1953, and she's returned to the ancient place of worship to mark the historic event. Her husband Prince Philip was by her side despite missing a Buckingham Palace engagement the night before because of ill health. Among the 2,000 guests were Prince Charles, Prime Minister David Cameron, Commonwealth Secretary General Kamalesh Sharma, and senior individuals from the military. Back home, a tribunal in Hamilton has voted to remove fluoride from their water. Hamilton Mayor Julie Hardacre says fluoride is an effective tool in preventing tooth decay. However, she says the tribunal was swayed by the many concerns relating to fluoride, which heavily influenced the final vote.
I came to the conclusion that there were some worrying studies that had been done about potential or perceived risks to other adverse health effects.
In sport, expect just one change for the Blackcaps' third one-dayer against England at Trent Bridge from the team which dominated in Southampton. With Vittori not being considered, it's likely the same team which won the first game at Lord's will play tonight. Tim Southey will return for Doug Bracewell in the only expected change, although Grant Elliott may be rested and replaced by Colin Munro due to a hamstring injury. And former British and Irish Lions coach Sir Clive Woodward believes future tours to Australia could be jeopardised by the host fielding understrength teams. The Western Force will field a weakened side in the opening game of the tour tonight, and Woodward says it's unacceptable and disgraceful to cobble together a second-string club team to play against some of the best players in the world in one of the great rugby tours. And that was your news for Wednesday the 5th of June. Ka kite anō.